Hey guys, Jose here from 3 Pillar Self-Defense. Today we're going to be doing a boxing workout at home. There's no equipment required, all that you need is either some space inside of your house or somewhere outside. This workout's going to be a little different in the sense that we're not going to be doing 3-minute rounds like the traditional boxing rounds, but we're going to be doing 3 5-minute rounds. Each 5-minute round consists of 5 different exercises. Each set of exercises we're going to be doing for 1 minute in duration, so it's going to be a total of 5 minutes per round. So, if you guys are ready, go ahead and find some space in your house and come and join me. Alright, let's go ahead and start off with our warm-up. First, starting off with warming up those shoulder joints. So each of these exercises that we're going to be doing for 30 seconds each. For this first exercise, we're going to go 15 seconds going forward, and for the last 15 seconds we're going to go backwards. You want to make sure that you are going at a slow and steady pace. Just a few more seconds and going on to our next exercise. The next exercise, now we are warming up those hips, so we're just going in a twisting motion. With this exercise, just almost imagine like you are trying to touch your back. Just slowly twisting to the left and to the right, getting a nice good stretch on that back and on those hips. Okay, moving on to our next exercise. For this exercise, we are moving our knees up to about waist height, and then they're going to swing out. So when my left knee comes up to about waist height, then I'm going to turn it outward and then bring it down, then switch on to my next leg. This is warming up those legs. There's a lot of legs that are being used in boxing because you're constantly on your feet. Now we're going to be warming up those calves and those thighs. So I'm going to alternate between each leg. I'm going to grab on to the instep of my leg, and I'm going to flex the opposite foot. The foot that is planted on the ground, I'm going to flex it as I'm holding my opposite leg in my hand. Just a few more seconds before we move on to our next exercise. Now we're moving on to front jacks. For this exercise, you're going to start off with both hands together directly in front of your chest. And as you are jumping, your hands are going to be moving out to your sides and then coming back together to the center of your chest. It's similar to motion of a jumping jack. The only difference that your hands are not going over your head this time. They are going directly in front of your chest, out to your sides, and directly back to the center again. Alright, now we're going to be moving into a different variation of a jumping jack. This time, one hand is going to be on top of the other. Your hands are going to start off in about your groin area. And as you jump, your hands are going to come up above your head and come back down to where they began. Remember again to just go at a slow and steady pace and to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Alright, that concludes our warm-up. Now go ahead and take a short water break, and I will see you back in just a few seconds. Alright guys, go ahead and find a spot in your garage or outside, and let's go ahead and start with our first exercise. Here we're going to be starting off just with the normal jab. The jab is going to be thrown from your lead hand, so if you're fighting in an orthodox stance, you're going to be extending your left hand. If you're fighting from a southpaw stance, you're going to be throwing your right hand. Each of these jabs is coming from a fighting stance, coming straight from your chin and full extension out. Make sure that you are snapping your punches and bringing them right back to where they began. Make sure to utilize different angles. Make sure to be moving around constantly, not just standing in the same place. And make sure that your opposite hand is up at about chin level, protecting your face. Make sure that you're breathing as well, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Keep going. Now we're adding to this series. Now we're going to be adding the cross. So the cross is your power hand. So after you throw your jab with your lead hand, you are then going to be throwing the cross with your power hand, which is the opposite hand. Make sure that you are twisting from your hips and that you are pivoting as well. Whatever hand you're throwing with, you are going to be pivoting on that same side foot. So if you're throwing a jab, you're going to be pivoting with your lead leg. If you're throwing a cross, you're going to be throwing the cross and pivoting at the same time. Notice I'm mixing it up. I'm not just throwing a 1-2, but throwing 4 punches, 6 punches, just mixing it up, throwing it at the body, throwing it at the head, and also just moving around, practicing my angles. Now we're adding the hook to the series. So here we're going to throw the jab, the cross, and now we're adding the hook. So in my case, because I'm fighting from an orthodox stance, I'm going to be throwing the left hook. From a southpaw, you are going to be throwing the right hook. So again, throwing punches to the head, throwing punches to the body, moving around the mat. When you throw that hook, you want to make sure that your elbow is bent at a 90-degree angle and that opposite hand is up protecting your face. Again, moving around, practicing different angles. If you know some of the more advanced techniques, such as pivoting, go ahead and do that. Now we're adding the uppercut to the series. So starting off with my jab, then my cross, then my hook, and my uppercut. Now we're going to put them all together, moving at a fighter pace. Make sure you are doing full extension on each of these punches. Even though we're not striking any kind of target, this is just throwing punches out into the air. You want to make sure that you are imagining yourself either hitting a punching bag or some other target. So you want to try to make this as realistic as possible. Just keep going. Make sure to breathe. Alright, and finally, the last minute of this first round, we're now adding another uppercut. So from the orthodox stance, I'm throwing a jab with my lead arm. I'm going to throw a cross with my power hand, a left hook with my left arm, a right uppercut, and then a left uppercut. You're going to be throwing uppercuts from both hands this time. So jab, cross, hook, uppercut, uppercut. Again, going at a fighter pace. Make sure to breathe. Make sure you're not holding your breath. If you hold your breath, you're going to pass out or you're going to gas yourself out. So you want to make sure that you are breathing. Alright, great job guys. That concludes our first round. Go ahead and take a short water break and I'll see you back in a few seconds. Alright, let's go ahead and get started with round number 2. For the first minute, we're going to be doing the double jab and the cross. So that's 2 jabs, then the cross. Once you're ready, go ahead and move at a fighter pace. Remember to be in a good boxing stance. You want to be light on your feet. Utilize your hips. Utilize your toes as well. Make sure you're pivoting and full extension on each of those punches. For the jabs, you want to make sure that you snap it right back to where you started. So you're throwing the jabs from your chin, snapping all the way out and bringing it right back to where it began. Same thing with the cross. Starting at chin level, full extension, bringing it right back to the chin. Again, you want to make sure that you're breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. If you're in the garage or somewhere indoors, make sure that you're focusing on different objects around the room you're in. And if you're outside, focus on different objects as well. Now we're going to be doing the cross, hook, and cross. Again, I'm fighting from an orthodox stance, so I'm going to be throwing the right cross, the left hook, and the right cross. Southpaw, it would just be opposite of that. Again, just moving at a good fighter pace, utilizing different angles. Make sure that your chin is tucked in as well. You never want to be sticking your chin out because you make yourself vulnerable to getting knocked out if somebody hits you in the chin. Just another few seconds left of this second minute of the second round. Alright, moving on to our next combination. Hook, 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 hook. So we're going to be doing 2 hooks to the body and 2 hooks to the head. So remember about these strikes is that you want to get down to whatever level you're going to be throwing the punch. So if I'm going to be throwing hooks to the body, I'm going to be bending my knees, throwing 2 hooks to the body, then I'm going to be moving up to about chin level with my opponent and throwing 2 hooks to the head. So 2 hooks to the body and 2 hooks to the head. Just keep going, about another 10 seconds. A few more seconds left. And let's go ahead and move on. For this next minute, we're going to be throwing the left uppercut, the right hook, and left uppercut if you are orthodox. If you are southpaw, do the opposite. So again, me from an orthodox stance, I am throwing the left uppercut, right hook, left uppercut. If I am fighting in a southpaw stance, I'm going to be throwing the right uppercut, left hook, and the right uppercut. Again, focusing on different objects, remembering to breathe, throwing punches at a fighter pace. If you know about head movement, make sure you're utilizing head movement as well, slips, rolls, everything. Alright, now moving on to the final minute of our second round. We're doing the double cross, the hook, and the uppercut. Again, it's 2 crosses, a hook, and an uppercut. Moving at a fighter pace. Make sure you're not looking down at your feet or looking down at the ground. You want to keep your eyes on the target. Again, I'm training in my garage, so I'm just focusing on different objects that are located around my garage. So you can do the same regardless of where you're training. Make sure that you just focus on an object, throw a few combinations toward that object, then move. Just another few seconds for this last minute of this second round. Alright guys, let's go ahead and move on to another water break before we transition into our third and final round. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get started. Now I'm going to be throwing everything from my lead arm. So in this case, it's my left arm. If you're southpaw, you're going to be throwing everything from your right arm. I'm throwing uppercuts, hooks, and jabs, all from the same side. My opposite hand is up at chin level, protecting my face, while I'm doing a full extension on my opposite hand. Make sure that you are throwing punches to the head, punches to the body, mixing it up. Don't always throw the same combination. You want to try different combinations, doubling up, tripling up on your punches, not just singles. Again, make sure that you pivot, you throw the power from your hips. You use your hips to add more power to your punches. Alright, for this next minute, now I'm doing my opposite hand. Notice I'm only throwing punches from my opposite hand. I'm not throwing any punches with my left arm anymore. I'm throwing crosses, I'm throwing hooks, I'm throwing uppercuts, everything from my right hand, my power hand. For those of you that are southpaw, make sure that you are throwing only punches from your power hand, which is your left hand. Again, I can't emphasize enough about the breathing. In through your nose, out through your mouth. This is the third and final round of this exercise. Just a few more seconds left. Alright, moving on to our next combination. Now we're going to be doing a combination of 4 and incorporating slips. So for those of you who don't know what slips are basically when a punch is coming directly towards your face, such as a jab or a cross, you are moving your head out of the way so that punch can go right past your head and you don't get hit. So if I'm fighting in a regular stance or an orthodox stance, and I'm fighting somebody who is also orthodox and they throw a jab, I'm going to be moving my head out of the way to let that jab go past my head. The combination of 4 is going to be the jab, the cross, the left hook, and the uppercut if you are fighting from an orthodox stance. Again, so jab, cross, hook, uppercut, slip, slip. Alright, moving on to my next combination is going to be the same combo, and this time we are rolling under the punches. So the combo is going to be the combo of 4, which is a jab, cross, hook, uppercut, and you roll under. The rolls is if a hook is coming towards your head, you are rolling under the punch. So if I'm fighting from an orthodox stance and somebody throws the hook, I'm going to roll under that hook and go to the person's dead side where I can't get hit by the person's opposite hand. An important thing to remember when you are rolling under punches is that you try to keep your eyes on your opponent. You don't want to look down at your feet, then roll, and then move your eyes up, because you don't know what's going on and you could make yourself vulnerable to getting struck in the face when you come up. Alright, this last round I am just doing a freestyle. So for the freestyle, I'm just going to be throwing every combination that I know, doubling up, tripling up on my punches, and just moving at a fighter pace. There's no structure to this. You just throw every combination that you know. Make sure that you utilize your slips, your rolls, everything. Full extension on each of these punches. Make sure that you're breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. Using different angles, focusing on different objects, whether you're training inside or outside. Just about another 10 seconds left. Keep going. This is the final round, the last minute of the final round. And that concludes our workout. Great job, guys. You made it through all 3 5-minute rounds. If you like this video, make sure that you give it a like and that you subscribe. Also, stay tuned for more at-home workouts. Thanks for watching.